He was a meek old man with a smoker's cough, but also Sammy the Bull Gravano's deadliest hitman. We're talking about old man Joe Paruta this week on American Loser.
On the edge they take the throne, built on bones of those unknown. Coming first, never last, still erased from the past. I am an American loser. No one remembers my name. No legacy and no future. One step behind in the game.
Hey there, folks. What's going on? My name's KP Burke. The show's called American Loser. We're putting the spotlight firmly on second place. We're telling some messed up stories from American history. And I'm very excited because I have a returning guest here. He's become, first of all, he is an absolute fixture on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, the esteemed Dr. Michael Harrington.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that, dude. The flannel, the glasses. Am I a dad or am I a dad?
I can't tell if I'm rubbing off on you or this is just we're both on this journey together.
I think that's it, dude. Just you eventually, you hit your late 30s, you have a kid, and it's like, man, I guess I'm just ready to go to the mountains.
You're just like, all right, do I stay in shape and remember how to do sit-ups, or do I grow a beard?
There we go.
That's essentially what happened here.
Who
Also,
needs a jawline?
you know who else has a great beard we were talking about before?
Oh, it's incredible.
The master behind the ones and twos, Sweet Dom. How are you, buddy?
I'm great. Apparently, Harrington didn't know I had a beard for my entire time working here. But
It's conspiratorial at this point.
I mean,
it's a
listen.
Mandela effect.
You were a boy when I met you, Dom. You are starting to get a man's beard.
okay.
Yeah.
It looks good, buddy.
Thank you.
Rock with it, okay? Rock with it. Don't sign with the Yankees because then they'll make you get rid of it a little bit. And by the way, facial hair free and just the perfect epitome of everything a samurai is supposed to be. Also behind the ones and twos, our boy Paco. How you living today, buddy?
I'm feeling very good. I'm learning a lot about history, geopolitics, and I'm ready to learn more.
I know. I can't tell if I've just been the gateway drug for you into this world a little bit. We're definitely, yeah, you had some curiosity about it, and then I was like, I'll be your first. That's. I'll tell you what, if it's your first episode of American Loser, you're in for a treat. I say that every single week, but I truly mean it. We just wrapped up what turned into a 4-part series on the Satanic Panic. We're going to get back to what the show is really all about, and that is taking a tiny story that's a little bit messed up over here, and then just taking a minor character from that and putting them firmly in the spotlight, which I'm excited about over here. Dom, I believe you are somewhat Italian and from Long Island, correct? Dom, have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Old Man Joe Paruta is our topic today.
I don't think so.
How about Sammy the Bull Gravano?
That sounds a little more familiar.
Okay, see, and Shannon's still in here. Shannon's one of my dear friends on planet Earth. Shannon knew this. First of all, you're a classic New York chick, Shannon. You really are. You're one of the few I really like that's in my life. And you just made me lose respect for Mike Figs, that he did not know who Sammy the Bull Gravano was.
Whoa.
I was watching a video of Sammy the Bull and another former mob member in a video. And then Figs was watching along with me and he was like making fun of both of them doing like accents. And I was like, wait, do you not know who this is? He's like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, that's Sammy the Bull. And he was like, who's
and Figs
that?
was like, oh yeah, Intercontinental Champion, like 1994, right? Yeah. Did he wind up in WCW?
He had no idea who it was. And I was like, what? He lives in the Bronx.
Sammy the Bull does?
No, Figs.
Oh.
Yeah, that one, and then there was another great one too. The 7-5 was on in the background one day, and the guy showed up in the picture there, and I had to explain to Shannon. I was like, "Oh, by the way, that's the drug dealer that ran all of pretty much, where you grew up, and especially this particular neighborhood where we're at, which we can't give out because we keep having controversial guests on." So anyway, here we are in Poughkeepsie, New York, folks, at our studio. I'm ready to dive in on this one. Michael Harrington, number one, you're very fun to talk to. I love you, and when we get to talk about this stuff, you had a line before that made me laugh. You said that your father has trained you to be able to talk about two topics in podcasting.
So the same way your dad like dragged you to like historical battle sites and like weird things in New Jersey and the surrounding states that piqued his interest, my dad would take me to old classic car shows.
Right on.
And on the way, we'd be listening to like audiobooks about the Gottis, the Gambinos, you go down the list of
10,000%. There's a concentric circle where those both things like, oh yeah, the mob guys used to come like show their cars off. Absolutely concentric circles on that.
So like I grew up watching like Once Upon a Time in America, like obviously the Godfather trilogy, and his line like clockwork. Anytime we're watching, it's like, oh, look at those. Could you imagine those those cars? Like, that's all he's in it. Guys are getting, like, their brains blown out. Dudes are getting their faces, like, run into the grill of a car. And he's like, that's a 79 Chevelle. That's a nice car right there.
Car people have a very specific type of tism.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know because I'm having a baby with one. She is out of this. She pointed out to me the other day that a Holden is what a Ford is in Australia.
Okay.
And we were watching Mindhunter. She's like, oh, his name's Holden Ford. That's like the same thing. That's Australia's version and America's version. I was like, why are you the weird one in our relationship right now? This doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, but I'll tell you what, we're deep diving here. As you guys know, Carly is severely pregnant. And go ahead.
I couldn't think of what that was like. Somebody pointed this out the other day. That's like the Los Angeles Angels are the Angels.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like it's the Los Angeles is the Angels, right? And then the name of the team is the Angels. So
yes. Which is why they threw a little Anaheim stink in there just to throw everybody off.
It's just too many words, dude.
Well, it's trippy because we're watching a lot of Netflix, and I'm watching. We just finished it. It was called Get Gotti. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that out there. Let me know in the comments. By the way, we have I'm not going to give away the perfect giveaway thing yet because I want to run it past Harrington here. But in the comment section, we're going to read out the top 5 names. You guys can leave a comment either on YouTube or try to, YouTube's probably best, I think. We're looking for best, give me your worst gangster names, not real ones. Come up with something original. Post them in the comments on the video here, and I'll read the result winner next week, which I'm pretty excited about because I always kind of found him funny, and I used to think The Simpsons did a great job. The Simpsons mob character was who?
Fat Tony.
Fat Tony. Yes, that's a very funny one. Be like, oh, they would never do that. And then you're watching Get Gotti, and you're like, oh, one of the heads of the 5 families was named Fat Tony. Like,
dude, it's all of it. Like, there was a Mumbles. There was like
Tony Ducks was my favorite because you're like, oh, where's the Sopranos thing come in with Tony Soprano and the Ducks? You're like, oh, because a guy named Tony Ducks was like the head of the Bonanno family. I can't remember. I'll never get it straight. I'll get Tara Canastracey back in here, who is so Italian, I still don't know how to pronounce her last name. She's been a dear friend of mine for 8 years.
Canastracey.
That's right. Depending on who she's around, I think she changes it too. But Get Gotti was fantastic. If you guys want to check out a good 3-part documentary, they will not tell you anything that I'm going to tell you in this episode right now because Carly gave me a great suggestion. There's a guy that's a small character in this. And I'm reading about him. She goes, oh, that would be a great episode. And whether it's because I just needed to be contrarian or because I just found this other guy more interesting, we went on a deep dive within a deep dive. And again, I hate to do it. New Jersey is the center of the world.
Oh, we already have our New Jersey tie-in?
It's crazy to me because we don't hammer fist it too much. But this was definitely pretty easy to get to. The Get Gotti documentary. Sorry for clearing my throat into the microphone. Amateur move, and you'd think I'd be better at that because we're professionals.
I've been hammering the cough button all this whole time. So
I respect that too because you are a professional, which is why, folks, if you use promo code loser, you can get the entire back catalog over here exclusively on Gas Digital. We're in our Gas Digital era, folks. Last little bit of housekeeping I got to do before I dive in on this. When this episode comes out, it's already out on my Instagram right now. Yes, I'm having a baby boy. Yes, I'm doing one real big last show. I'm taking about 6 weeks off. It's going to be 4. I know it's going to be 4. I'm going to get some offer to go on the road, and I'll just have to take it.
The paternity leave isn't real.
Yeah, it's no, it isn't. Although I promised Carly I'd be home for at least a couple of weeks after the kid is born. So March 14th at the Dojo of Comedy in Morris Plains. That's your last chance to see me. I'm going to go up there. We'll do the hour. We'll have a lot of fun, man. I got a bunch of new stuff talking about this weird new journey that I'm on. The comments so far from listeners of the show, people who've just seen me on the road before, and then other friends and family have been absolutely nothing but supportive. And then the 3 assholes that asked me if they could open. Paco is opening, folks. Okay, it's all Paco. And if you want to get on my shows from now on, you have to email Harrington. I will give it to you. It's maybe we have to beep this out, but email Harrington at Old Man Hustle. I'm sorry.
Mike H.
Yeah,
It's a .net.
Oh, it really is.
.net.
Yeah, perfect. So that's how. If you guys want to get on the show, that's how you do it. Reach out to me there. No, we're gonna dive right in here. I promise you. Okay, I always get shit on for that because it's my only time to hang out with people that aren't 4 and 6. All right. This documentary is great. It relies on key witnesses, lawyers, members of the press, federal agents, cops, and of course a couple of wise guys. Now, you told me this before. We're going to talk about Sammy the Bull in a second, who's a legend, and Shannon was right to chastise Figs for not knowing him. That's egregious to not know
nuts.
Sammy the Bull. If you do, by the way, it would have been even better if Mike Figs is like, oh, this is Sammy the Bull. Oh, the YouTuber?
Yeah. Oh, you mean that wise guy, the dude who talks real slick on YouTube with the sweet soundtrack?
Isn't it insane, by the way? And Paco, if you could possibly pull up just a photo of Sammy the Bull, he is a YouTuber now. The mafia stuff it's gone mainstream enough, and there's so much money in it that he has a podcast. Michael Francis has a podcast. Yep. They have wine companies. The guys who got busted from the 7-5, that corrupt cop thing, they have their own cigar company now. It's crazy. There you go. That's Sammy the Bull right there.
I mean, nuts, dude. What's his subscriber count at?
More than mine.
Yeah,
688,000.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this dude is like, he's just sitting there like, yeah, so then I killed the guy. Anyways, and he's just sitting there like smoking a cigar.
He's so calm.
Jacks.
And by the way, it's fun. It's fun to watch. Francis I like a lot too because Francis is he's very well spoken and articulate. And then you're just like, oh, what did he go? Why did we? Oh yeah, 10 years RICO charges. There you go.
Uh-huh.
But what was trippy to me is Gotti was probably the first guy to bring in this celebrity status to like. Al Capone was a guy people knew, but you weren't like excited if he was in the room, and there was nobody that was like a fan of Al Capone. They're like, oh yeah, Al Capone runs the city, but there weren't like, Al Capone didn't have celebrities showing up at his trials. Do you want to guess some of the celebrities that showed up during John Gotti's trials?
Oh, okay. All right, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna say who's the guy who did porn with his wife? Joey Buttafuoco.
I guarantee you Buttafuoco is a fan of him. He was not one of the celebrities that showed up. But in the same way that, like we talked about last week, West Memphis 3 had all these celebrity supporters.
Sly Stallone.
He would be an interesting one too. Maybe he was actually. But the big takeaway was when Gotti was going on trial. This is a mafia boss, the head of probably, I would say, the most powerful family, right? The Gambinos.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, that was late 80s, early 90s. That was the heyday of the Gambinos. And they literally, Gotti was becoming like a folk hero in New York. And that's why people were rooting for him because it took, I think, 3 cases before they finally brought him down. And each time he kept beating it.
Well, it was also the invention of RICO. Like, it's literally what Giuliani, it's not the invention, but it's like the first time I believe Giuliani was like, no, we can use this RICO thing to go after the mob as a whole. And introduce charges that had like never even been tried before to get to like, that's eventually what took him down, correct?
Yeah, they actually had to teach a class at Cornell to explain RICO charge. Like it was around and nobody was utilizing it. It was like the first time you heard about a podcast off the top of your head.
It was on an episode of Degrassi, actually. The Next Generation, Toby, the kid, like the little nerd kid who I think hooked up with Liberty, he was like, yeah, I need to upload it to the podcast. And they like did like a little like impromptu, like 15-second explainer on what a podcast is. And then I was like, that sounds lame as hell. And then within a year, Kevin Smith. I got Kevin Smith's book that was just episodes of his podcast transcripted. And I was like, I mean, you can just listen to this free. Why did I pay for this book? This is crazy. And I started listening to his podcast.
I was on board the USS Carney. So this has to be 2008, 2009. And one of the officers found out that I liked the band Fish.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a Fish devotee or anything. But he told me, he goes, oh, if you like Fish... do you know what a podcast is? Because you can actually, all their live shows are now being uploaded on podcasts.
Oh.
And that was the first time I'd ever heard of what a podcast was. I'd seen the insignia on my iPod. That's how old I am, folks. By the way, I am so old, too, that there's an age, Paco. It's going to come for you eventually, right? Harrington is nearing this. I'm 38 right now. Anybody under the age of 30 is a child to you, and you feel this inherent need to protect them, which is why Serafina being here today is the reason why I cleaned, not mine, but someone else's pube off the toilet seat. Because I was like, this girl does not, we need to protect her innocence. Do not allow this. She cannot see this. Okay. I'm not having the conversation with her about where they come from or anything. Okay. Her parents will handle that in due time. Okay.
It was her pube.
It was her pube?
Fuck, dude. You said it out loud.
Oh, man. All right. Well, anyway, we're going to probably auction that off here as a giveaway, guys. I'm sorry. She's such a. I really adore everybody that works on this network. But back into it, the idea, and this is why it does. It sounds like I'm just flying stream of consciousness right now, but I'm not, and I swear. Yes, Sammy the Bull has a YouTube channel. Yes, he has podcasts. The idea that John Gotti going full celebrity status during his trials here is the first time that you had celebrity getting brought into the mafia here. And we had no idea that the thing that has, again, Omerta, the code of silence, is not only going to be kind of like, yeah, they're like guidelines we're going to work around. These guys are actually able to openly talk about the sophisticated levels of the organization. And that's entirely because that's what RICO was like getting all these indictments on. So RICO was how to prove that it's a criminal organization. And I forget, there's 4 things that you have to have for it. And it took them the longest time to line up all 4. But eventually each family showed that they had, okay, so it is a criminal enterprise. They have committed violent acts because of that. And they do have like a chain of command type thing. So once RICO came in there, Gotti's not the first victim because the heads of the 5 families all got indicted on RICO charges. And then when Castellano, who was running the Gambinos, when he got taken out by Gotti, it was because they were realizing like, oh, they've been bugging him for forever. We're going to go down on charges next. So they almost think that it was like you had to do it to keep it was a self-preservation act.
Well, I mean, it was also Gotti was legitimately like an off-the-handle capo who didn't know his place, right? Like
Yep.
It was like I said, man, Gotti's like my favorite story, right? Because it essentially was like just him and Sammy running together, like, you know, to like he worked. Sammy worked under Gotti. Like Gotti was his boss, but there was a boss,
right,
you know, over him. Castellano was the boss of everybody. He was the boss of the whole family, and like just the kind of moves they were making, the things they were doing, were bringing way too much heat onto the family in general, to the point where I feel like his and certainly the Bull's reasoning was like, look, if we don't take this guy out, it's going to be, you know, like
100%.
Sammy the Bull got made in 76. They didn't take out Castellano until what, 89?
I think you're right on that too, because Castellano goes down. Keep in mind, this is the power grab that we're going after here, folks. And in order to pull off a power move, and this comes into the story later, in order to pull off a power play to try to take over a family, you got to have guys that are so loyal to you that you got to have, number one, you got to have numbers, then you got to have the tenacity. The guys, and Gotti was running with the roughest crew, and Gotti had dudes, and they were, it was a special kind of Brooklyn tough. This was the Bensonhurst crew. Dude, they were like the definition of knockaround guys. And here's the problem. Gotti got a movie that Travolta played him in. And there's been like 4 or 5 attempts at telling his story. And they've gotten great actors, like Frank Vincent's been involved in these things from The Sopranos. No one is ever, you can't make a movie that's more compelling than the true story.
No.
It only works in documentary form. So.
No, and the guy is like where it starts to get messed up, right? Like the thing about Gotti that always like struck me to my core reading his book as a young man was like, there was just some dude who was driving home one day, right? It's a long day at work. I think it was in Montauk or something. Like it was like at the summer place.
You're talking about the Polish guy, right? Or whatever?
Yeah. And he like hits his kid with the kid, like shouldn't have been riding his bike there, right? Like runs out into traffic. The guy hits him, feels terrible, is just trying to like take care of the kid, make sure that he's not like sick or hurt or anything. There's no ill will towards this. but he's seen now at the scene having hit Gotti's kid. And the end that guy met, I would not wish on my worst enemy, you know?
It's anytime you're thinking you're having the worst day of your life, you kind of got to remember that guy.
Like the guy who was just driving, like the good family man who was just driving home from work, who probably had his own penis fed to him. You know what I mean? Like, what a fucking, these guys were truly brutal, like merciless savages. People you would be, concerned having in a polite society with the way that they can openly, rationalize killing friends and trusted confidants in a heartbeat, right? These are true sociopaths. And this dude, but like he had the smile, he had the nice suits.
Dressed night, free fireworks. Fireworks get you out of a lot of trouble.
Dude.
A free turkey on Thanksgiving will get you out of a lot of trouble. Frank Lucas.
What murder?
There's literally banners hanging up in Bensonhurst the day of his trial saying, "Good luck, John Gotti." Yeah. Like that's how he was a folk hero. And New York was in a weird spot too. They had a soft spot for this. By the way, the celebrity that showed up at one of the trials that turned it into a total melee. And you had so many people saying, "I just love how he carries himself." Mm-hmm. And then you're just looking over and you're like, "Oh, Mickey Rourke is here, rooting on John Gotti."
All right.
Yeah, this is he's still beautiful, by the way. Mickey Rourke,
92.
This is so he's not. I don't think he's boxing yet at this point. But he would take the mafia boss archetype to a whole new, another level. John Gotti, and to the point where when Gotti does eventually pass away in jail, all right, no, we're not giving away anything over here. He passes away years later. Mafia members did not attend his memorial service because they said, "We don't like what he did. He was too out loud with everything." Yeah. He broke omerta, which is the code of silence, right? These are men of honor. That's what they're supposed to be. They're also, it's part of the code of honor is like, if I tell you you have to get rid of your best friend, you got to do it. And so this thing's bigger than them, this thing of ours, whatever they want to call it. But using John Gotti's celebrity status, he's going to become one of the first national figures. He beats numerous cases against himself. And then the media is treating him ironically like he's a young Travolta, where they're like, he's just dressed so well, his hair's perfect, don't hit my hair, that kind of. And then later on, Travolta's going to play him in a movie that I guess most people tell me is worth skipping.
Well, but it's also like listen, if you're watching it with Zach Amico on Spook Show, it's an absolute blast. He couldn't have more fun than to watch. I think they've done it once, and you could probably talk him into doing it again.
That would be a fun one.
It's almost like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing, right? Or Jesse James, let's say, right? Like
we do have an outlaw fetish in this country.
And this was like for the 90s, right? This was a tabloid anti-hero, right? In a world where The Punisher and Wolverine are two of the most popular comic books out there. Stone Cold Steve Austin came along not long after. Like, we were primed for the anti-hero. Not only that, like, we've always just had a fascination with this guy flouts the law. Right? The United States government is throwing the entire might of their charges at him, and the people in his neighborhood are putting up banners because they love this guy so much. It is the true,
we like an underdog.
Man of the people versus the machine, and you completely look past the fact that this is one of the most ruthless, bloodthirsty sons of bitches that's ever existed.
Perfect example in pop culture terms. I will always turn to pro wrestling. My 6-year-old stepson is getting into wrestling, and he likes Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he goes, "Is Stone Cold a good guy or a bad guy?" I'm like, "Oh, he's definitely a good guy." And then Stone Cold is just hitting people with chairs left and right who have done nothing to him, but we're like
stunning women.
Yeah, you don't understand how amazing we worshipped him.
No, he's the good guy.
Yeah, the '80s template is there because Gotti was beating the system. That's how you get respect on it. Like, they threw everything they had at him. There's a little bit of that in politics too, when you're like, I can't believe, I won't say the name, but I can't believe a certain U.S. president keeps beating all these charges. There's a couple other things with that too. There's you root for an underdog naturally. A-Rod, as a Yankees fan, I hated A-Rod, and then Boston threw at him after his suspension. They threw at him twice in one game, and then he took him a yard on the third at bat, and I was like, please don't make me root for this guy. But you're creating sympathy for the character. Now, I'll just get this out of the way over here. He does become known as the Teflon Don. Okay, that is pretty much pop culture. Most people would know that. I am stuck up on the idea that Mike Figs, we would be talking about, Sammy the Bull Gravano and Rico charges. And then he's just like, oh, yeah, Rico? Yeah, he works at my bakery. Yeah, I know Rico. So, spoiler alert, Gotti's going to goes down swinging. It's not until a drama-filled court case complete with FBI surveillance tapes and hidden bugs in his hidden office. He was that good. He had an apartment hidden above everything else. That will cause the demise of the guy who was known as the Teflon Don because nothing stuck to him.
I'm pretty sure what actually fucked him up more than some guy like brought a girl back to the whole thing was like he just wanted to bang a chick on the boss's desk. And like something about that made it so she was able to plant a bug or something along, or like it was just enough that like they knew it existed so they can get a warrant for it. There is something to do with like one of Gotti's underlings banging a girl on his desk ultimately led to the surveillance in that room.
We had a couple hangout spots. He had the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club, right? And then he had, I think, a place called the Ravenite. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. But he bounced around because he realized they were bugging everything.
Right.
And by the way, it's so cool to hear these guys. So like, yeah, so we knew the feds were there. Just wave to them, say hello, whatever, move on.
So you know what? I think it was the Ravenite because that's where they they had it on tape. Somebody coming over and being like, "Hey, what do we do here with this, that, the other thing?" And he just goes, "It's La Cosa Nostra. It's always been La Cosa Nostra.
Yes,
that's all it's ever gonna be." And it was like, "Don't get too fancy with this shit." Right? Like, don't get, like, this is what we're doing. You know it's always been this. And they had that on tape, and they were like, okay, so you're admitting that there is a formal order to this thing of ours.
The fact that they screwed it up to this level. You can't live out loud when you're doing that. Like,
truly.
Yeah, it's Stone Cold eventually, it runs out. He has to have the heel turn or whatever. What we do on this show, though, is we're going to find a detail or somebody that gets skipped over in the story here. But your big picture story, this is the one that Hollywood's tried to make several times over. Gotti's going to go down, and it's going to be in these tapes that they're hearing. All of a sudden, you're starting to see Gotti's facade of I'm cool, I'm a man of the people. He was a great quote. He's literally, the FBI agents are pulling him, and he goes, well, I'm going to beat this, right? And he, like, literally FBI agents had to go up and shake his head. We didn't think you had it, but you beat us this time.
You licked us good, old Gotti.
It was really,
Johnny boy.
It was amazing that they were able to do that. And everybody's speaking with such candor in these interviews because enough time has passed. But this last one, they bring up his underboss, as you said, Sammy the Bull Gravano. That's your number 2 in the mafia here. Sammy the Bull Gravano, he has heard enough on these tapes to go, all right, I'm loyal. I'm not out to get anybody, but I'm hearing Gotti took out Castellano, who was like a semi-father figure to him, and I helped him do it.
Oh, okay.
So these people were all involved with the hit because it was Gotti's crew was so mean and powerful. That was the only ones that could take out Castellano.
Well, yeah, but they also took out Castellano without an order from the other 4 families, right?
Right. You're talking about the commission.
They didn't run it past they took out a head of the family without running it past the commission. By all rights, you're a dead man walking. And his crew was that tough that he's like, all right, we're going to the mattresses. I bet we're going to be able to keep earning. I bet we're going to be able to figure this thing out with me at the top of the family.
It's all money too. If you show up, it's kind of like The Wire too. When who was the evil sociopathic drug dealer on that?
Avon?
No. Avon was actually awesome in hindsight. The kid who comes in later on. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah.
But everybody hates him.
Marlowe,
yeah, thank you. Marlowe just keeps showing up with envelopes full, and that makes a lot of things go away. So Sammy the Bull hears these things, the tapes that are being played in the courtroom, and he decides to make a phone call, cooperates with the feds. He becomes one of the highest-ranking people to ever cooperate with the government. Pieces together all the things they have, like these little weird clips they have of, like, I think this is a pertinent conversation. Sammy the Bull Gravano gives it all up and just explains, because here's how it works, and Gotti is actually a sociopath. And by the way, that's all they are. They're very charming sociopaths.
Oh, yeah.
This week's loser is actually a guy I bet you would be kind of like, first of all, he's unsuspecting, which makes him great. Go ahead.
He's a fucking sentimentalist in the mafia. This guy is like such a cut from like like the old style of the mob, right? Like, you're from the Lucky Luciano days, right? Like he's that level of gangster, right? Like
if you could just have a part where they always do it in all the mob movies, everything like that. I feel like if you could just not get this greedy, and that's what this guy is to a T. We're talking about Joseph Paruta, who was known as Old Man Paruta. There's a reason for that.
Oh, because you couldn't get your old man in here. We had to talk about the old man.
Yeah, this is now. It's a trippy story because you said sentimentalist. That's one of like 10 adjectives you could go with to try to explain this guy.
Oh yeah.
Now, Sammy the Bull Gravano does wind up flipping, and John Gotti spends the rest of his life behind bars, dies of throat cancer in 2002. So you guys were alive for that, I think.
Eating too much pussy.
I still can't tell. Yeah, that would be the best way to go. It's just John Gotti. I'm John Gotti here to talk to you about Catherine Zeta-Jones. She's claimed another victim. But what we do
couldn't this guy do?
He was a mafia boss, Michael. How could I say no? Hi, I'm KP Burke. History isn't boring. Your teacher was. Also, just want to give you guys a heads up here. I have a little boy on the way. Yes, I am going to become a dad. I'm actively terrified of it, and I'm going to be taking a couple of weeks off the road doing stand-up comedy. So your last chance to see me before I have to become a dad is going to be March 14th at the Dojo of Comedy in Morris Plains, New Jersey. It is one of my favorite clubs in the entire country. I love everybody there, and it's always nice for me to sell some tickets in pretty much what's my own backyard. So come on out to the Dojo of Comedy, buy your tickets at the link here below. It is your last chance to see me before I take a little tiny break from stand-up comedy. I'm not allowed to fully quit because I make just enough money to stay relevant in this business, but not quite enough to not have to have a job where I cut trees down in Morris County. Thanks, and I'll see you guys at the show. Now, I have a foreman at work that will only ever teach me the broad strokes of something, and that's what these documentaries do. So I got lost in this. I watched the full documentary. It's 3 parts, very easy watch. And then the last 30% of the story is absolutely this week's loser, which is Old Man Paruta. If Gotti is larger than life, who still gets mentioned in rap albums, TV shows, movies, characters in mob movies are based off of him. Godfather Part 3 actually has a guy loosely based on John Gotti.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is crazy, too, because you're in this era now where mob movies are in pop culture, and now actual mobsters are referring to the movies as the thing. It's kind of like when they make Silvio on The Sopranos do the Michael Corleone impression, and you're like, it's like a tongue-in-cheek thing, like, yeah, you guys know he exists, but you can't prove it, but you're fascinated by us because of the Shroud of Mystery.
But it's like also that, like, you're just setting yourself up, by the way, because, like, now we're ripe for somebody doing like a Tony Soprano monologue in whatever the new iteration is.
Yeah, they're going to act like they saw it in the movies growing up, kind of a thing.
Right.
And it's, by the way, I would say this, John Gotti is the Ric Flair of the criminal underworld. Very flashy, backs up everything to dirtiest player in the game, whatever you want to, but again, shows up limousine ride, and it's a life that people are aspiring to. And if you're a working class Italian kid in Brooklyn, you're like, if I could just hang out with that guy, I feel like things would happen for me.
I feel like John would really like me.
Yeah, I got things I can do for you guys. I mean, do you guys need a driver? What do you want me to do? I'll learn numbers. I'll learn numbers. The numbers game, folks. All right, Italians are literate for the most part, I found. But this guy Joe Paruta, how do you get known as old man? You get known as old man, but he dies at 57 years old.
I think it's by it's the same thing I got going on, right? They've been calling me, you know, what's the average guess on my age around here? 51, 52, most people assume.
On the lower side.
Yeah. See? You see what I'm saying? It's like didn't he have some kind of disease?
He did. Now, by the way, as a guy who is eternally thought of as being 35, like when I was in my 20s, people were like, oh, you're like 35 or whatever. And now I'm 38 and they're like, you're like 35 or something. I was like, so I'm finally on the positive side of it. Yeah, it was rough, my little attempt at getting into acting when they're just like, oh, yeah, so you're going to play, I'm like in my 20s and they're like, all right, so softball coach.
Dad number 3.
Yeah, oh, dude. Just for a little context, too, by the way, here. Old Man Paruta will die at 57. So again, old man is rough to say about somebody who's 57. Age has changed quite a bit over the years. For example, Selma Hayek and Nicole Kidman are both ages that Old Man Paruta never got to reach.
For real?
Yes, they are both older than Joe Man
Selma
Paruta.
Hayek is 60, right?
I believe Selma Hayek is 60, and I think Kidman is like 61 or however many that is in Scientology years.
Dog, I watched her drinking milk out of a saucer within the last year, and it did something to me. She still got it.
She's on a lot of people's wood list, and
Also, if you, I found this out the other day, watching Eyes Wide Shut with my wife and her going, yeah, that's basically my body. And me going, yeah.
damn right. If I even mention that, we're gonna go on a 10-minute diatribe. So I promise the listeners we're gonna stay on topic here. I couldn't stop Harry or Josie last week from just saying something too interesting for me to acknowledge. And then finally, our comparison here, Elle McPherson, who's been somewhat of an obsession of mine since I was about 5 years old. I was interested in her as a woman before I understood what my body was trying to tell me. 61 years old. Yeah, a lot of people say men are not loyal, but I've been obsessed with her since before my balls dropped. So my point is 57 doesn't feel that old, but when old man Paruta dies at age 57, it is 1986. Dom, you know what time it is, buddy. Let's hit him with a little zeitgeist. It is 1986. Russia is having an incident called Chernobyl. Ronnie Reagan is in the White House. Iran-Contra is the political scandal of the day. The Chicago Bears are Super Bowl champions and shuffling. Charlie Sheen is running around the jungles of Vietnam and Platoon. Kurt Russell is saving the world yet again in Big Trouble in Little China. Bon Jovi puts out the song Living on a Prayer, and Run DMC will solidify their roles as the kings of hip-hop when they make even Aerosmith try to walk this way. But in New York City, the mafia is still making things happen. Sometimes out loud, and often at the helm, is the feared and powerful Gambino crime family. So, of course, we said Bensonhurst before. You say Bensonhurst, and people's knees start to hurt. It is synonymous. It is the idea that gentrification tries to happen there is amazing to me. All right? But this is old school New York. This is what all the movies are made about. This is the one that a lot of people opine for. I love Robert Kelly to death. He's like my comedy dad, but he's sitting there with like some mobster's son on YKWd. He goes, I miss the old mafia. You guys used to like take care of the neighborhood. You're like, Bobby, don't leave out the part where they were butchering people. Please leave out. I really miss the old Somali dictators in Mogadishu, you know, like they used starvation as a weapon, but people did eat sometimes, you know? Come on, Bobby.
Listen, I was thinking about this earlier. If the mob was as strong now as it was in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you think ICE would be getting away with what they're getting away with?
So that's a fair question. And what I think romanticized people about the mob is that you were in such a lawless time in New York that crime was rampant. Crime was, it seemed like it could happen to anybody, and there was no planning or anything like that, and everybody was a potential victim. Now you're like, no, I don't do crime. I do organized crime. It's a business for us. If you don't want to get involved with us, stay away from us, that kind of a thing. And they always find a way to make the people that are their victims less than sympathetic. So, you know what I mean? Like, you knew what you were doing when you borrowed money from us. That's
right.
kind of the, so there was a little less stink on them for that.
And it's like a thing where it's like, hey, man, like, you take 20 grand from, Johnny Knuckles, he's going to take out your knees. You take 10 grand from Visa and don't pay them, they're going to hound you to the ends of the earth. You know what I mean?
That's right. The Indian mafia comes for you then. Hello, my friend. We have I'm so sorry to bother you at this time, but this is in regards to a debt collection. Some of this conversation will be recorded, much like John Gotti's Bergen Hunt and Fish Club was recorded, my friend. But anyway, I need to speak to the account holder of the Easy Pass account for an Alex Scarlato.
You know what that shit?
Buddy.
Type shit.
Well, Joe Peruta's old school, and these are the people that we lionize and opine for here. Joe Paruta is born in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn in 1929. Sicilian family. They suffer from poverty. Making ends meet will become the top of their hierarchy of needs instead of worrying about anti-Italian discrimination. So, yes, you're just going to go get mobbed up or whatever. It's going to happen. It is what it is. But if you're not eating, then you don't have time for these first world problems. They're having third world problems in Brooklyn. Okay? Now, before he even hits puberty, Joe will begin to age prematurely. You said it before. Is why I love doing the show with you, buddy. This disease is known as Werner syndrome. For those watching,
Werner?
Yeah, Werner syndrome. Maybe I stuck a little V on. I've been hanging out with Carly's grandpa too much. I'm going to ask that Paco not search Werner syndrome because it's very upsetting. But let's just say if you were a child with Werner syndrome, the Shriners would be putting you in Christmas commercials and stuff like that and making you sing. Yeah, it's a very Jerry's Kids kind of a thing.
When did he get hit with it?
Well, there's treatments for it now, so it's not that it's been mitigated, but at least there's something you can do for it.
Right.
But when you are a poor immigrant kid growing up, and again born in 1929, it's going to be untreated, still medically misunderstood. Joe Paruta will begin to appear very diminutive and feeble, while also appearing significantly older than he looked. I know people that freak out about turning 40. Now imagine being 30, but you look like you're in your 60s. That is what Werner syndrome does. So in a weird way, this episode is going to be about a guy who is a feared and respected mafioso, but it's also like the Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
It's like that Robin Williams movie, Jack.
Oh, dude, that's the most horrifying movie. I really... The fact that Bill Cosby's in that movie is the comedic... like, he's supposed to be the part that lightens it up a little, and you're like, this is sad, dude. But Old Man Paruta, despite all of these medical things here, he is a story of overcoming his disability, if you will. True soldier for the Gambinos, devoutly loyal to Sammy the Bull.
And before that, though, he was an inherited guy in Sammy's crew. Like Sammy didn't recruit him. He was a holdover. So Sammy took over the crew from, it was like Sam something or other. It was another guy by the name of Sammy. And it was that dude and I think Boozy were on the other guy's crew.
Your Boozy was in your notes, so go ahead and hit me. Yeah, 'cause, by the way, when you inherit guys too, there's always this thing of like, are they actually going to be loyal to me? Or are they going to get on board? Sammy the Bull Gravano, who is still alive, folks, again, as a YouTuber, he almost cries when he talks about how much he loved Joe Paruta.
Oh, that was his actual boy.
It was, and by the way, to our point before about, he goes, he was like my Luca Brasi, which Godfather term, that was the most loyal guy to Don Corleone. By the way, I'm such an idiot. I'm occasionally whip smart on something, but when I miss something, I miss it totally. For a long period of time, I thought that Don Corleone, I was like, yeah, Don's not really an Italian name. That's so weird that they're all Don. Like there's so many. Is it like Donaldio? Is that like is short for something? And yeah, I really thought Don was. No.
You didn't even go Donatello?
Yeah, Donatello. It's short for Donatello Corleone. That's his guy's name.
Yeah, dude.
He was really good. Yeah, he ran the sewers. And
Hey.
they had a little in with the media too, so they were able to.
Hey, guy wasn't much with a gun, but a bow staff? Oh, forget about it.
Oh, dude, it was. Like I said, when I miss bad. But you were saying Boozy was a holdover. I don't want to put you on this because Harrington sent me notes before, and it seemed like it was either he was writing notes for High Society Radio on one of their drunk episodes, or it was a shopping list for a schizophrenic.
So Boozy's one of the guys. Boozy's one of the guys in the crew, and him and the old man would go to the track all the time, right? Like they loved
Big time gambler.
big gambler, loved going to the aqueducts pretty much, every day. This guy Boozy shows up one day. He's got a canary yellow Cadillac, right? Like a full on, like top of the line, brand new, off the showroom floor Cadillac. Shows up to where the guys are hanging out outside the deli, whatever, right? Having their coffee, like Cetrielli's in The Sopranos, right? And he rolls up in his yellow Cadillac and everyone's like, what the fuck? Are you taking some broad to her prom? Like, you know what I mean? What the hell's wrong with you? You chicken shit that out, like go on down the line. And everyone's making fun of him for it. So the old man turns to him and he goes, everyone make fun of your car. Let me buy it from you. And the guy goes, hey, come on, man. I just took it off the lot today. What the hell? I'm going to sell you my car? That's crazy. These guys are busting my balls. Forget about it. Let's go to the track. So the old man, for some reason, is driving the brand new Canary Yellow. I guess it was the thing where he's like, hey, you want this car so bad? You drive it to the track, right? So
it is a fun thing. Drive a nice car like that back in the day, too.
Except when he gets off the turn for the aqueduct, completely whiffs it, and it's like a big, sharp right turn. He's skidding along the whole way, bumpering it, right? He said there's smoke coming out the thing, the fender's hanging off, and Boozy's like, yo, you all right? You all right? He said, yeah, I got a broken nose, no big deal, this, that, the other. Old man looks at him and goes, yo, let me buy it off you now.
Dude. He was a straight up gangster. He really was. And again, as he got older, he looked more feeble and everything. But like there was they called him old man to bust balls, but it was absolutely a term of endearment, and everybody respected him too. He was like, again, if you hear Sammy the Bull talk about him, you're going to think he's talking about his son. That's how much he loved this guy.
Yeah.
Now, Joe Paruta, interesting thing here. He's very admirable, and he's a wise guy that has the discipline of not being too greedy, which is rare in a power-hungry world. Also, solid family man. I'm sure there were moments of indiscretion in his marriage. I don't want to, but I don't know anything for sure. There was no gumad or whatever they want to call him, because when you have Werner syndrome and you eventually, what that disease does, if left untreated, makes you look like a bird. Like you start develop, like you look like a bird with no feathers. He found a woman named Dottie that married him and had children with him, and I'm sure their wedding photos looked a lot like Anna Nicole Smith's wedding photos. But it is.
Can we get a picture of Dottie?
I don't know if Dottie has any. I didn't find Dottie Paruta would be her name. Paruta. That's a good question there. That would be something I would have had Carly do.
Because me and Fagan were talking about the other day. Chicks have always been attracted to dudes who look like birds. Jeremy Allen White, bird-looking ass dude.
The what did I hear recently? Rats. No photos. Paco saying, yeah, she was low. When I tell you he was low profile, it was. He's really like the dream in terms of if you were going to have a mafia family and you're like, hey, by the way, I got this guy that will never cause you a problem, do anything you ever ask, and he's satisfied with the action that he has. He just wants to live his version of the American dream over here. What you were saying before about dudes that look like birds, that's there. And then I remember seeing an article about women being attracted to men that look like rats.
Yeah. Chalamet, I think, is in that category.
Chalamet's in there, and then Barry Keoghan.
There we go.
Yeah, he's one of them too. And then they're just like, I was like, that's ridiculous. They're like trying to force this thing on us now. And then you find out Sabrina Carpenter's dating him or whatever.
Yep.
And you're just like, oh, I guess she really follows the trends.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the way, let's just be clear. Sabrina Carpenter, she's an op. Okay, she's not real, folks. All right, Paco, take that one to the bank, buddy.
I thought she was just a clone of Hillary Rodham.
That's it. Josie's not even here.
I mean, dog, it's uncanny. If you were trying to slut up a young Hillary Rodham Clinton, she would look like Sabrina Carpenter.
It's horrifying that there's truth to this. Now, Joe Paruta, like I said, will marry a nice Italian-American woman. Shocker, of course. The Sicilian's going to marry an Italian. Her name will be Dottie, Dorothea, I think her name was. They have several children, and Joe is known to often take his family out to nice sit-down dinners at a place called Tally's, which was a bit of a mob hangout. But if you look at it on surface level and you're like, look at this nice old man taking his family out to dinner. They're having a classy sit-down. And then in the back of your mind, you're like, I bet you there's something else going on here. Yes, it's a mob hangout, and yes, old man Paruta has a little action in Tally's. So he's going there. Does he ever get a bill is the question that you're asking.
Right.
Beautiful Sunday dinner with your family, and you find out it's all been, your dad was breaking bones in the kitchen in order to find. So it's not it's a version of the American dream, but there's a dark side.
Yeah, but I bet nobody ever messed with Tallies. I bet nobody was throwing bricks through the windows.
No, sir. Now you said something about a deli before.
Yeah. So this is this a little bit later because it speaks to Sammy's relationship with him.
Okay, jump in when you're ready on that. I'm very excited. It's fun having a guest that's into the show too. Joe was not greedy. All he had for his action, if you will, was he had a small gambling operation and his money lending gimmick, which the wise guys would refer to as their shy business, aka Shylock business. He was content with that.
Oh, fans of Shakespeare.
That's 100%. It's a good pull, by the way, too. That's one of those insults Colin Quinn threw at Voss one time where you're like, Voss is not going to know what you're talking about. But yeah, on top of his terrible health, old man Paruta is a diehard smoker. And he's got a terrible smoker's cough. He's going to lose almost all of his hair at a young age. And like we said, he starts to look a little bit more and more like a bird as the Werner syndrome kind of develops here.
Like the vulture from the Looney Tunes.
Yes.
Picture that.
If he'd gone through like an explosion and there was no hair left kind of a thing.
No, that is like the vulture is the it's got like the Costanza missing the hair on top of the head. Like I'm telling, pull up the vulture from the Looney Tunes because I'm telling you,
if you can, Paco, I would appreciate it. Now, by all accounts, we're talking about a guy that's a stand-up guy. Like we said, Old Man was given to him in a joking manner, highly respected, highly trusted, very mild-mannered, and also never showed a temper to anybody, not even his enemies. That's probably what makes him so efficient. Yeah, that's it.
Tell me that's not Old Man Paruta.
I stand down, buddy. You got it. That's him and Bugs Moran over here.
Yeah.
Him and Bugsy Siegel in a picture together.
That is Sammy the Bull giving him direction. He's like, all right, so you got to go over here. Nicky Cowboy. Enough.
Nicky Cowboy's coming up. This is probably what makes him such an unsuspecting but therefore successful hitman. I mean, the guy dropped bodies. He's calm and collected, and he's got a very matter-of-fact bedside manner to him, which is rare in a killer. He is a couple of things going on. Like, first of all, we think like a mafia enforcer or something. You're always thinking like a young musclehead kid or something.
A hothead.
Yeah, Old Man Paruta is unsuspecting, which is what makes him such an asset to the Gambinos. There are quite a few examples of how guys underestimated the old man, but he showed some charisma and creativity in how he will handle business. So this is a great story, and then it's going to go right into Nicky Cowboy, so I feel like I'm setting you up for success here. Paco, imagine meeting a guy in a fashion like this. These are mobsters telling stories, and they're just glowing when they talk about the guy. Years before, Frank DeChico will become a Gambino family underboss. He is a young upstart mafioso, and he goes, hey, I got a line on a robbery here. It's going to be high paying. I've scouted the whole job out. All I need is a guy that'll work the lock for me. So you get a locksmith guy. They always have a little bag of tricks.
Of course.
So he goes...
it's like a D&D character. Everybody has their certain skills if you want to
absolutely
come into the mob.
Yeah, so Old Man Paruta portrayed himself as a level 19 dungeon master lockpick expert.
Yeah. I'm the best lockman in all of Bensonhurst.
Dude, it's so great, too. They say, hey, we're going to send this dude, Old Man Paruta, over to see you. And Old Man Paruta shows up, very meek and mild-mannered, negotiates his part of the take. And after all, by the way, you have to pay the locksmith pretty good, because if you can't break the lock, then obviously there's no score.
Yeah.
So he's absolutely integral to this. And he goes, all right, I got this taken care of. This is my fee. This is what you pay me from what you get inside. I'll take care of the rest for you. And Frank DeChico, again, this young upstart who thinks he's about to have a big score, he agrees, and he asks the old man, he goes, if you're the best lockpick in Bensonhurst, why have I never heard of you? And the old man smiles and literally says, there is no better lock guy in New York City than me. So they go in for the score. The old man stands near the door, but instead of reaching down for his lock-picking tools, he kicks the fucking door down. And Frank DeChico's, they're sitting there. They probably had like a little burglar outfit. So I was like, and they just can't stop laughing. Like, these dudes are falling down laughing. It would be like saying, Louis J. Gomez tonight will be doing slam poetry. And it's just, he just does his set, and you're like, that's not slam poetry. What really is slam poetry?
I'm going to slam you.
But as soon as you pull something like that, all the mob guys are like, oh, dude, he's a character. We love this guy. He's an animal.
They're literally falling down laughing, going like, all right, we're not going to pay you. And he goes, yeah, how would you have gotten in here without me?
That's what they did. He waited around till they were done robbing the place. He goes, now my lock-picking fee, gentlemen. And they paid it to him because they're dying laughing. They're like, dude, you always, this is what DeChico says, you always knew you were going to be in good standing with a guy like that. How do you not trust a guy that's that brazen? So,
I mean, you balls of steel.
Well, he had a set on him for sure. Now, what makes him, again, the most unsuspecting but arguably most deadly hitman in the crew, here's a couple of examples of the old man at work. You know about Nicky Cowboy. You want to run with it?
Yeah, so this is a dude, he is another guy inherited into Gravano's crew. He was like a bad drug guy, right?
Yeah, now,
like,
mind you, this is like the Hells Angels of the mafia. This is specifically the Gambino family is the most feared. Gotti's crew is definitely the most feared amongst them, and then Sammy's Bensonhurst crew is, dude, That's special forces mafia.
Right,
So
right.
there is no tolerance for drugs or any sort of unpredictability.
So he did make it clear: A, no dealing drugs. B, no like you want to do drugs in your own time, do that. But if you're bringing drugs into my crew and messing with my crew with drugs, that's a real problem. Some guy who was like he was like another made guy's kid had like just joined up with his crew. Sammy was keeping an eye on him, and Nicky Cowboy is the one who got him hooked on crack. So Gravano was like, "You're messing up my whole crew with this crack thing here. So put everybody in a car. We got to go figure this out. We're gonna go have a sit down." Because he was also flying off the handle. Like there, I think it was Falia. I think it was somebody who he killed, who he maybe shouldn't have killed. Nicky Cowboy, and it was like bringing heat upon them. So they were like, all right, we're going to go to like some kind of a sit down.
Yeah, when Italians say cowboy, by the way, Italian Americans love Westerns.
Oh, yeah.
They absolutely love it. I think part of it's the spaghetti Western thing. But when you had the nickname of cowboy in anything like that, it was absolutely an insult because you didn't want to be known as wild and unpredictable
What are you,
because
some fucking cowboy?
it's bad for business. Enough of that cowboy shit. How many times have you heard that in a mafia movie? So yeah, Nicky Cowboy, again, that's not going to be a good nickname here. You don't want to be known as unstable and like a loose cannon. Don't go full Brian Pillman here. Last wrestling reference, I promise. Wild streaks. He is addicted to crack, like you said. When crack hit, that was like something, that was like a lesser, there's a whole cultural thing to that too, where you're like, why can't you just do coke like a grown-up?
Yeah.
But this kid's smoking crack. And like everybody with crack, it starts off, it's not bad right away, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're taking way too many chances. You don't care anymore because your self-preservation is gone, whatever your wherewithal is for that.
Right. It's just, how do I get more crack in me?
Mm-hmm. And Nicky is already shown, he understands the criminal world, and now you're bringing that. So it's a little bit of a Christopher Moltisanti archetype here. But for Christopher, they went with downers and made it a little bit more sad. Because otherwise Christopher's in one season.
Better music.
Yeah. Oh, you ain't wrong about that one, buddy. Yep. Alice in Chains had the best unplugged. I'll fight anybody on that
Right?
one.
Let me just drift off to the Doors, man.
Well, Nicky Cowboy, they realize he's a problem. He's a little too erratic. This is a business, okay? You can't have a guy not showing up. He probably missed a couple of uploads for his shows, and they just had to get rid of him.
They said, hey, we're going to take a ride to Ralph's.
That's inside baseball, but God, that was fun. So, they're going to have, they're in a tough spot over here. Again, it's the 80s. Crack is relatively new. Treatment for these addictions is years away in terms of becoming mainstream.
Plus, you're not going to send the mafioso to the Betty Ford clinic. What are you going to do? Talk about your feelings?
Yeah, that was why it was controversial that Tony let Christopher kind of get a chance to clean himself up.
Yeah, but Tony was a half a fanook. He was in therapy himself. What are we talking about?
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
Talks to a lady about his problems. You're the boss of bosses.
It was a
and why are you wearing shorts?
It was a kinder, softer mafia. But, he's gone from nuisance to full-fledged problem over here. And he splits. They said he didn't care about anything. Nicky Cowboy was going to start his own crew.
He was trying to start a crew within Sammy's crew.
And so he wanted to have his own thing, and he was going to be at the head of the table on that. And it was, you guys, you old guard are missing out on all this stuff. And they're like, all right, so Nicky, you were a good kid. You're getting to be a little bit of a liability here, and drug charges also are significantly harsher than, you can't just say like, all right, well, I got to take a hit on a gun charge and I'm going to disappear for a couple of years to prison, but I'll be back out and everybody keep earning while I'm gone. Drug charges is where people started seeing life sentences, and then that had people flipping. So they wanted to get ahead of this one in particular here. You want to talk about how they take care of him?
Well, it was just we're going to this meeting. We got to sit down over
Where are they going to the meeting, Mike Harrington?
I don't remember.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Again, picture on a Sunday, old man Paruta, this nice little feeble old man and his pretty little wife and their children, and they're going to sit down and have a nice dinner at Tally's.
Oh, okay.
The scene of the crime will be Tally's.
Well, not exactly.
Am I wrong on this?
All right. What do you have?
So Tally's is, okay, so you're right. It's not the scene of the crime, but the meeting will be held under the auspices of, we're going to Tally's.
Okay.
So if you're Nicky Cowboy, you're just like, oh, I hope it's gnocchi and short ribs tonight. Oh, that would just be the best. Nicky Cowboy's going to get picked up for a dinner at Tally's. It's the hangout in the usual stomping grounds of Old Man Paruta. Now, Nicky, government name Nicholas Mormondo, he gets picked up by an associate who's known as Huck. Okay. And Huck had a black friend that he worked with whose name we can't say.
Finn?
It's No, it was a little Mark Twain joke in there.
I'm aware.
So the two would then ride out to go pick up Old Man Paruta. So, you got Nicky Cowboy sitting in the passenger seat, and this tiny, feeble little old man gets in the back seat. And kind of the classic case with Paruta, you never see it coming. What happens to him?
I mean, tell him play the front seat, then I'll choke you to death. I mean, it wasn't choke. He put one.
Two to the back of the head. Yep.
back
Keep
of
in
the
mind, he's feeble. He's not going to be able to get too aggressive with you here. But a 380 with a silencer on it does a lot of help. All right. That's the great equalizer.
Yeah, as long as you can lift that much, you're good.
Nicky Cowboy never saw it coming.
Nope.
Feeble old man shot him twice in the back of the head. Sammy the Bull and another associate are following behind in a car.
They're in another car.
They're traveling behind him in a car. And they actually will dump Nicky Cowboy's body in a vacant lot where it was found the next day. That by the way, that crime, we'll put this in the early 80s, we'll say. That crime remains unsolved. They did such a good, they couldn't keep up with the crime, and NYPD had no clue what this. Hey, there's a dead body found in a vacant lot with 2 bullet holes in the back of his head. And they're just like, yeah, well, I mean, we're going to try to get around to it. We'll see what we can dig up here. They don't solve that murder until Sammy the Bull testifies to get out of the Gotti trial. And that's when he goes, oh, yeah, we killed that guy. Yeah, we killed Nicky Cowboy. Yeah, that was us. Yeah, we did that. And the reason he was willing to come forth with that is because I believe Huck was already deceased at this point. The Bensonhurst crew almost all meet very violent early deaths. That was the life you live as the Delta Force of the Mafia. But he also made sure that, I'm not giving a spoiler away here, he made sure Old Man Paruta was deceased by the time he would never incriminate him.
Oh, dude,
he loved him.
Old Man Paruta was dead before Castellano was dead. But there was a possible attempt on Castellano that would have involved the old man.
Yep, they were talking to him. He was going to go into the bathroom straight out of Godfather 1.
Straight out of Godfather. There's going to be a piece for you in there. You're going to come out with 2 guns blazing and just fire off. And we're going to have guys outside, but there's no guarantee you're making it out.
So, Paco, picture John Wick, but it's the old man mascot from Six Flags Great Adventure. All right, that's essentially what you're dealing with here. You're sending in Mr. Magoo to go in and just have dueling pistols and just let everybody have it. But yes, they were talking about that because Castellano and Gotti, it was a very love-hate relationship.
Sammy said he was so loyal I could have sent him into the local precinct to shoot the sheriff in the head, knowing full well there was no way he'd make it out, and he was such a loyal soldier he would have.
Oh, dude, you gotta have one of those. That, by the way, that's what Carly is to me, where I have to be very careful who I'm like, hey, I'm really mad at this one kid at work, and she's like, what's his address? So
I can handle this for you.
That's right. That's right. Oh, we'll go have a couple of words with him. So. Now he also will make sure, like I said, that Old Man Paruta is long dead because that way he would never betray the old man when he loved him more than anyone else in his life of crime. Old Man Paruta is also supremely loyal to Sammy the Bull. They had things worked out differently time-wise. Old Man Paruta would have been somebody that Gotti worried about if he was ever able to take out Sammy the Bull. So if Gotti had beaten those charges and Sammy the Bull didn't flip and testify and they were going to take him out, you would have had to have been like, all right, Old Man Paruta's got to go. He's got to go the same day that we take out Sammy the Bull because
we take out Sammy and Paruta's still around.
Yeah, Paruta's going full vendetta. So it was that close those two were. And when you hear Sammy the Bull talk about him, he even says, he goes, it was bigger than whatever La Cosa Nostra was. We had something deeper than that, which again comes into the story here in a little bit. It is still pretty funny to me that when you look up Sammy the Bull's Wikipedia page, could you pull up a photo of Sammy the Bull Gravano when you get a chance, Paco? I'm sorry, I know you're working on the thing is right now. But it's it's pretty crazy that you're going to look at this guy, Sammy the Bull Gravano. He does look like he's a wise guy kind of a thing. Maybe he's going to try to bark you into a comedy club. There's a little bit of an edge to him.
Okay. But
it is still hilarious that when you search his occupation on YouTube, it shows up as criminal underground boss and YouTuber.
Podcaster.
Right? Yeah, YouTuber, podcaster, Sammy the Bull Gravano. But This is another one, and again, movies are made about this. There you go, Sammy the Bull. Kind of by the way, if you told me that he was a second baseman for the Mets, I would believe you.
Dirty Mets.
It's easy. Dom's doing a great job. Okay, please don't upset him.
It's beer league.
That's by the way, Dom's last name Gravano. Now, Sammy the Bull owns a bar in Bensonhurst. Did you find this story?
No.
Oh, dude. Everyone's going to know. Everyone's going to, if you've seen A Bronx Tale, you know a version of what this is about to be. But I still think this is where they might have taken it from. My timelines are a little confused on this.
No.
You know where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about a bar and Bronx Tale, I know where we're going.
Oh, dude, it is. It might even be better. The bus stop is a joint owned by Sammy the Bull and Bensonhurst, and a biker gang is going to come through, and they're being rowdy in the bar, and they were intending on giving the bar more than they bargained for that night, and a violent melee will break out, and Sammy the Bull himself is attacked and has his ankle broken in the fight. Okay? The biker gang is able to get away, but they found themselves being pursued by mobsters. Sammy the Bull himself will get revenge on one of the mobsters who attacked him on crutches. Imagine the guy shows up on crutches like, all right, we really picked the wrong bar. All right. And why did we have to hang out? Why was our hideout handicap accessible? This was such a mistake. Looking back in hindsight, we really should have planned this better.
We're bikers. We don't need that.
Oh, dude. So it's Sons of Anarchy getting the shit kicked out of them by Goodfellas.
I think there was a, like one of the bikers
Yes, sir. You
ended
know
up getting a pass.
And it's weird. He got the luckiest pass ever. So this biker you're talking about, you're nailing it. One of the bikers gets away and goes into hiding for a few years. And he goes, hey, he's friends with old man Paruta's kid.
Oh, that's what it was. Paruta's
Yeah.
kid.
So he goes, hey, I know your old man's like, connected a little, and I got a problem, and maybe he can hear me out on it. And so this kid, the biker goes to him or whatever, because the son sets up the meeting, and the son's like, he's sitting, he goes, my dad's just going to kill you, dude. Like, please, he's like,
No, but he didn't.
he doesn't give anything away.
Well, he didn't know that Paruta was Gravano's right-hand man.
Yes.
So he goes into the meeting and he's like, this Gravano guy is a real problem for me, man. And he's
Exactly.
like, I think I heard of him.
Yeah, it's, he goes, don't worry about it. I'll set up I'll talk to him. I'll feel him out a little bit. So you're literally going to the guy that Sammy the Bull's going to send to kill you to be like, hey, you think I can get a pass on this one?
That's nuts. That's like going to a pit bull and being like, hey, man, can we negotiate for the jewelry inside this house?
It's so true, dude. It's it was mind-boggling to me. And that, by the way, the fact that biker lived, because eventually the hit got, but literally old man Paruta went to Sammy the Bull. He goes, hey, I got that guy, the biker dude, and I know where to find him. I got his info. He came to my house, but I'm coming to you out of respect to talk to you before you tell me what you want to do with this. And eventually, I guess they just lost interest, or other things were coming up.
He said he's a friend of my son's. You know what I mean? Like
Old man Paruta would have just dropped him in a heartbeat,
100%.
though. Yeah.
But he's like, he came to him as like, hey, I can you please mediate this? And Paruta was like, all right, like, I'll go talk to Sammy on your behalf. And by the time it got to Sammy, it was like, dog, that was 4 years ago. I already killed 2 of the guys. Like, what?
But it was such
Sure.
respect. Yeah, such respect was shown to him here. And that set him up as, if you had any doubts about old man Paruta, that was it. This is your killer elite. This is a guy that'll go to bat for you. Now, the murder that jumps out at me the most this is the guy that Carly wanted me to do a full episode on. But aside from a couple really interesting details, I didn't think he was worth a full episode. There's a guy by the name of Robert DiBernardo, who is a.k.a. DB. And he is going to be killed in 1986. And he's very interesting because he causes a ripple effect a little bit more than a lot of people expected.
Is he the one where they just found the head?
So that one I don't know, but I do know that DB... I'm really careful with Paco because I want to look out for him. He's going to do a great job opening for me March 14th at the dojo.
If he shows up.
He'll be there. He's showing up with you, I think. But I'm worried about Paco because he's got a finger in the conspiracy world.
Okay.
And the conspiracy world, the trap is that everything is connected. But when I show you that this thing is connected here, it gets a little crazy. And you let me know if you got to bounce, all right?
I'm good.
So DB's very interesting. This ripple effect I'm talking about is pure chaos. He is a made man in the Gambino crime family, but has never killed anybody and really never does any sort of violence or anything. But he is the true definition of a good earner. He is essentially the kingpin of adult entertainment in New York and New Jersey. He is credited with ushering in the golden age of corn, we'll call it.
Is it like the theater in Times Square kind of deal?
CD theaters,
Okay.
adult movies,
Nice.
everything that OnlyFans ever wanted to
This
be.
is also like the advent of VHS.
Yeah, so you're right in there now. You can now have it. You don't have to go to a seedy theater to
Right.
enjoy this. So this golden age of the adult industry, if you will, is these movies are being made by skilled filmmakers, right? There's scripts written, there's costume departments. This is a little bit different than the old, smut that they used to peddle in Times Square. So that doesn't mean he's not also involved in the very creepy stuff with that. If you guys ever get a chance to see the movie called Hardcore with George C. Scott, it is as unsettling today as it is when it was made in the 70s. It's written by the guy who wrote Taxi Driver.
Okay.
Yeah, it is horrifying.
And is it just all about those kind of theaters?
I'll put it to you this way. His daughter disappears and goes into a certain industry, and George C. Scott has to track her down for years to try to find her. It's like The Searchers, but with porn. Yeah, it's a rough one. There's illegal scenes that are still being made by this DB guy. He's got the peep show business. He pretty much runs all of Times Squares over here. And there's also foreign import scenes where laws are different and ages of consent are different. Do you get what I'm saying without me having to say it? Okay, gross shit. He is directly involved.
He's a good earner, though.
Oh, the envelopes were full. But all of his behavior is what helped to make Times Square an effective no-go zone for anybody with a shred of morality in New York in the 70s and the 80s. This is stuff Giuliani was absolutely going after. Giuliani, by the way, not to get political, will become a Republican and a Republican mayor of New York City. You want to know how that happens? Here's how we figure this one out. DB is a made man, no direct violence, also never ran a crew. He's kind of a one-man show when it comes to the mob. He needs their muscle, and they love his cash. It's like a partnership made in heaven here. But
Plus, the broads are probably not bad either.
I was going to say when you can walk in and just be like, "Hey guys, Brooklyn Chase wants to come hang out tonight." She's going to do a little a number over at the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club. You entertain it. So now he needs their muscle. They love his cash. Prior to Gotti consolidating his power, the Gambinos were run by Paul Castellano. Castellano was paid hefty tributes from DB and his adult empire. But DB will always complain because he goes, he takes my money, but he treats me like I'm a lesser than. So Castellano was like, I don't like this stuff you do, but I'm taking your money. We're offering you protection from this. You're a part of this, but this is not a part of the business that I enjoy.
And DB was a made guy.
DB was a made guy, 100%.
Whoa.
So he was like the outcast cousin, if you will, on this.
But yeah, I guess if he doesn't have a crew and he's not running with a crew, who the fuck are you going to take it up the chain to?
Therein lies his problem, and which is why it got so surprising that these couple things happened. So Gotti starts talking out loud. He goes, I think I'm going to take out Castellano. And DB's like, oh, that's a great idea. Finally, I'll get a little bit of respect for my weird adult empire I've been running. And that's not exactly how it's going to line up here for him. DB is about to get all sorts of extra attention. And yes, Gotti loves going out for press conferences and talking to the people and being the people's hero here. Nobody was ready for what happens to DB. It's the 1984 presidential election. Ronald Reagan is highly popular but aging. His opponent for re-election is Walter Mondale. Walter Mondale will two firsts on this ticket, by the way. Walter Mondale is going to run against Reagan. They don't give him a chance in hell, but you got to run a campaign. You got to figure out what happens. Maybe you can get the swing states, all that other stuff. And in order to try to spice up his ticket, Walter Mondale picks the first woman to run as VP on a major party ticket.
Whoa.
Geraldine Ferraro. Not only is she the first woman, she's the first Italian.
Oh,
yeah, she's
an
an
Italo-American.
So there's a 2 for 2 on that one here. Now, DB gets interesting because Geraldine Ferraro, who my mom remembered when we started, I was pitching it to her. They're down in Florida right now. It's really trippy because she's supposed to be somebody that's celebrated in the history books for this stuff. This is going to be your first female vice president if this ticket wins. Here comes the extra attention. It unfolds quickly and rather stereotypically. Ferraro's husband is a fellow by the name of John Zaccaro, and he was a real estate dude, and he owned and managed several properties.
Including?
Well, it was noticed that Ferraro and her husband filed their taxes separately. So she goes, I'm not taking your last name. I'm my own woman, and I'm also going to file my taxes separately because I'm my own woman. And Ferraro will release her tax return. Her husband will refuse to. Openly refuses to. Now, all right, well, why does he not want to put this information out over here? And Ferraro tries to stay ahead of it. She goes, well, all you ladies married to Italian fellas, you know how they are about, their secrets and stuff. Literally falls right into the trap.
Bruh.
It's I'll tell you what, this woman could have been on Currency had she become the first VP.
Was this all right, genuine question, better or worse pick than Palin?
It is, well, that's a tough call because Palin is also remembered for some indirect, albeit indirect, involvement in the adult entertainment industry. Thank you to Lisa Ann.
Fair.
But she gets a decent laugh when she makes that joke. You know how Italian men are. Right. Until it is revealed that her husband owned the building and was the landlord directly responsible to DB and his seedy adult entertainment studios.
Okay, landlord?
He is the landlord.
That's way better than I thought it was going to be.
It is, but keep in mind, this is the 80s here,
yes.
And you're having a girl power VP president, and she goes, and I'm here to tell all the little girls whatever they want to be. If you want to be in politics like me, or if you want to work at my husband's studio. So... yeah, DB's name in business is going to take it's a terrible look for the first female VP. DB's name in business will take a big hit on the already underdog campaign because now they can tie them to organized crime.
Yeah.
Not only is it an adult entertainment empire, it's also owned by a made man in the Gambino crime family.
Right.
So, in a very weird way, the adult entertainment industry and right-wing evangelicals both aligned to help get Ronald Reagan reelected in '84. Moving on. DB will also be one of the most vocal supporters of Gotti's plan to take out Castellano. He's trying to figure this all out. And Gotti is impressed with him, and he goes, you're showing a lot of moxie. You're going to be a captain in my crew now. So when Castellano does finally go away, DB, things are looking up for him here. Yeah, your name got ran through the papers, and you get brought up during presidential debates, but not bad for a adult entertainment magnate without a crew. Gotti will infamously beat 2 cases against him, but he does spend quite a bit of time in jail awaiting trials and proceedings. While Gotti is in jail, a message is given to Sammy the Bull via Gotti. Okay, so this comes from, there's an intermediary on this. But Gotti from prison will sanction a hit on DB for quote-unquote being subversive.
Whoa.
So Sammy the Bull said, this is the first time that it clicks in Sammy the Bull's head. He goes, Gotti's nuts, dude. He'll just get rid of anybody. Like, I'm his guy, and I'm not safe right now. This is when it starts to click into his head. He says, he's rebelling against us a little bit. He's got, if you said, hey, too much attention with the presidential thing, that might make more sense. But he says, quote unquote, being subversive. And he goes, he's got to be taken out. He's a threat to my power. He's got no crew. He's probably never held a gun before. He's just an earner, and he needs the muscle of people that do know how to work guns. And they're sitting like, there's no way this is actually the call, but they also know that John's not messing around with the isolation, and it comes directly from a trusted source. From prison, John Gotti orders the death of Robert DiBernardo.
I mean, and another time he was ordered to do a hit, Sammy said, but John, and Gotti goes, don't John me. Decision is final.
Yeah, you didn't want to get on Gotti's bad side.
No.
He is, it's like that scene in Untouchables when the barber accidentally cuts Capone,
It's just he's a man that can't be reasoned with. You know what I mean? It's there's no appeal to like, hey, what if? It's like, no, you're really going to question the word of your Don?
Yes, I'm sorry, did you think this was a conversation?
Right.
I'll quote good old Mike Dietz on this one. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I was in charge. Pound salt, Dietz. Now, the adult business thing, like we said, he's making a ton of money on that one here. But when you got to go, you got to go. DB has no soldiers, no crew, no history of violence. But, I mean, there's no chance he's going to make a power play. But an order's an order. And Sammy the Bull summons him to, I believe it was his concrete business. I'm not exactly sure on that one. But he has a meeting set up with him. And he takes his most trusted man, Old Man Paruta. And Old Man Paruta, they're sitting there. They go to have this meeting as usual. DB's like, oh, yeah, what do you guys want to talk about? Oh, yeah, we just got to go over a couple of numbers or something here. Old man Paruta he goes, I'm going to make us some coffee. Goes behind DB. DB doesn't suspect a thing. This is a feeble old man. He reaches up to go get the Folgers. Instead of the Folgers, comes down with a 380 silencer, 2 shots in the back of the head. DB's gone, folks.
The best part of waking up.
That would be an excellent commercial, by the way. If we can get Ryan Long and Danny to make one of those, I would absolutely subscribe to that. You holler if you got, all right?
Yeah, I do got to go kind of soon. But I'm so fascinated by, like, you know, is there any other violent doings in here that you know, you were like, oh, this was like a highlight of this dude's career?
Well, I would say how easily they reference him for these 2 hits are the big ones on that one. I am going to get into the most controversial hit that he ever had here in a second, but I think I'll give you the respect of letting you get to your appointment.
No, come on.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're gonna land this plane, folks. All right, I promise you, Paco. Now, here's the best part. They get rid of DB and they keep his business. So they're like, oh, we got to get ourselves away from all this, except we're going to keep the business.
Yeah, of
they
course.
keep trying to build it and grow it. And the problem is that nobody knows how to run the business. They killed the only guy who knew how to do it.
Yeah.
So, okay, now you're seeing diminishing returns on this already seedy part of your business. The crew is able to gain control of his Teamsters union. So it's somewhat short-sighted, but it's also putting thoughts into Sammy the Bull's head. He goes, dude, if DB wasn't safe, how am I safe here? So old man's loyalty will never waver, but his health is going to decline. He only had 2 requests before he knew his time on Earth was coming to an end. He goes, I want to become a made man in the Gambino family. Hit me.
So I'd heard that he requested it, but I also heard that he didn't request it, and it was Sammy's, like Sammy from his own telling of it. He was never asked to make him a made man. It was like he found out the old man comes over to his house. He's got like blood on his shirt or something like that. Sammy goes, what the hell's wrong with you? He goes and checks. Oh, yeah, it's blood. I'm coughing up. He says, what the hell happened to you? He said, I went to the Coney Island hospital. They tell me I got cancer. It's a whole thing, right?
Cancer on top of Werner syndrome, on top of a smoker's cough. He's just, the fact that this guy is still showing up for work every day is impressive.
And so Sammy goes, what the hell are you going to that shit hospital for? Let me make some calls, gets him in at NYU Langone, I think it was, right? Or something like that. New York hospital, some big fancy New York hospital, has him go in there and get looked at. And he's going back and forth, and the doctor's like, nah, dog, it's bad. It's real bad. And at that point, according to Sammy, once he knew, like, it hit him like a ton of bricks, and he was so overcome with emotion, according to him, he's the one that reached out to Gotti and said, this should have been done a long time ago. I want to make the old man.
So either way, that one's, and by the way, I love that because there's more, it adds credence to the whole thing about how much Sammy loved this guy.
I mean, he called in favors to get him the best possible medical treatment.
Oh yeah.
Do you have anything on like his diagnosis?
Diagnosis? No, I do know that his ceremony to make him a made man, which did happen.
It did. Gotti gave the approval for it.
Yes, Gotti approved it, probably from jail.
It was from jail.
They had to cut his finger, right?
They pricked his finger. So the code of Muerte, you prick the finger, you put it on like a picture of a saint, and then that gets burned in your hand while you say the vows of the La Cosa Nostra, right? So while he was doing that, like he said that it was so hard to get blood. He pricked his finger, wasn't able to get anything. There was nothing in there. He said he had to dig the pin in and like separate it to get just the tiniest little drop of blood. It was literally like trying to get blood from a stone, according to Gravano.
By the way, this is also in a cancer center. So you have a guy in a
No, this was in his house.
It was. I heard it was in a cancer center.
No, so it was like Sammy paid for him to get like the best cancer treatment that he could, but the that ceremony took place in his house. It was like in like a back room in his house. His wife and kids were sent away for the day, and Sammy was the one who, initiated the ceremony. Okay,
so part of that was also the finale of the story too. Mm-hmm. So we might be crossing threads. You might entirely be right.
He was doing home hospice.
So here's the best part. This is what sets up probably my favorite image of the entire thing. There's a bunch of mafioso guys here for this ceremony, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to do this. You're going to become a made man here. You're on home hospice. You don't have much time. This is like a deathbed honor they're trying to give you. And then just picture a sweet little Jamaican guy walking in. Okay, Mr. Paruta, we're going to go ahead. It's time to change. Oh, let's take a look here. Time for a sponge bath. Oh, they're digging the knife and what's so go? Oh, it something smell like smoke in here. I can't tell what it is. Mr. Paruta, you need something to smoke. You talk to Kenny. Kenny going to help you out with that.
Oh, you burned the picture of the same, but you got no chicken, the head cut off. How you going to do Santeria?
Cut off 2 chicken head. Oh, same thing. Oh, this holistic. You're going holistic on me now. Oh, Miss Cleo's not going to be happy about this.
So apparently Sammy goes in when they go to NYU hospital or whatever, right?
Can you tell that we're in the 6th season in New York, by the way, folks? I'm sorry for all the coughing.
They have the meeting with the doctor. Doctor goes, sit down with the old man, his wife, and Sammy, because Sammy was the reason that the doctor even met with the old man in the first place. And he said, listen, I don't know any way to tell you this. The cancer is very aggressive. You got about a year to live, right? I could prescribe you chemo and all kinds of treatments, but it's really just going to make you super sick.
Yeah, you already look like a bird, dude. You sure you want to do this?
Right, yeah, dude, like, chill. Sammy goes, Doc, you got to be kidding me, man. I know a lot of other doctors. Like, let me go talk to the original doctor who referred me to you. Let's see if there's any kind of, like, experimental treatments or whatever. And the doctor says, let me talk to you in the hallway. And he said, listen, I was being kind when I said a year. The guy's got 3 months. And he said, at that moment, I started weeping. Like, I was actively crying, being like, Jesus, my best friend, you got a year to live. How could it get any worse than that? And he's like, minutes later, I'm told, nah, you actually got 3 months. And it's like, his own wife doesn't know that. You know that.
It's terrifying. And by the way, here's the problem. This is the sequence of events on this. He becomes a made man.
Oh,
right?
Another cool thing about that,
yes,
too.
Sir.
He was super depressed and was like under the weather the whole 9, right? He's dying of cancer.
I was going to say, you're on your way out anyway. Right?
His wife apparently calls Gravano's wife and is like, yo, he's doing so much better, blah, 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 this, that, the other thing. He's doing incredibly. She goes to the bull, goes to Sammy and goes, hey, what did you do? And he goes, I gave him the most powerful miracle drug known to man, La Cosa Nostra. And she goes, what? He goes,
have you or a loved one been described La Cosa Nostra? A side effect might include having a pair of cement boots and winding up on the bottom of a river. Morgan and Morgan for the people.
Symptoms include not being able to handle store-bought sauce.
Have you ever tried counting cards and noticed that your hand hurts afterwards? This could be La Cosa Nostra.
So yeah, apparently after he got made, that was like, they put like a pep in his step for the last couple of months or whatever. So
yeah, so you try to do a nice thing for your friend. What you screwed up on though, is that now he's a made man. And Paco, do you know how hard it is to get rid of a made man? We just talked about how Gotti was, target number 1, because he took out a boss of a family. You had to be the baddest ass of baddest asses in order to be able to pull this thing off.
This wasn't yet, though, because Castellano was still alive.
Right. I'm saying that what a intense move that was in order to do something unprecedented like that, because there's been a handful of guys that have ever done it without permission. So Gotti's got a bunch of heat on his crew right now.
He's in jail.
Yep.
And facing multiple charges.
And old man Paruta has one final request for Sammy the Bull. He goes, Sammy, the greatest gift you could give me right now is a bullet to the head. Please end my life here. And this is, if only they could have hired Dr. Kevorkian, all right, to come in here for him. Little Armenian reference from my mom there. But they can't bring him in on that one, and they're disgusted. Like, dude, we can't. It's my deathbed request, Sammy. You got to honor this. And Sammy the Bull, again, probably through tears, goes, John, we got to talk. I got to put a hit out on a guy. I need your permission to take out old man Paruta. And he goes, he's a made man. You can't do that. And you're like, okay, so we should have done this request first, and then yeah, you just did that ceremony. He's a maid. I can't have a made guy. I'm catching too much crap from the commission. We got to Castellano's never going to go along with this. I'm in jail right now. Can we not be killing more members of our organization? And he denies the request. So John Gotti denies the deathbed request of old man. I'm sorry.
Omerta, we don't do mercy killings. That's not what this is.
Yeah, let hospice get to him, okay? Oh, I forgot to change you today, sir. I'm so sorry. Oh, the bed sores took you out, didn't they? Oh, this big pussy indeed. Old man Paruta is confined to his home due to his health, and Sammy the Bull is going to go against John Gotti.
Well, the old man says to him, Sammy, I don't give a fuck about John Gotti. Fuck John Gotti. I've never been John Gotti's guy. I've been your guy.
Yes.
He said, our thing is stronger than our thing.
And Sammy the Bull looks at him and says, I wish I could quit you.
This is fucking, it is, dude. It's Brokeback Mountain for fucking just Goombas from Bensonhurst.
Brokeback Bensonhurst. The plan is simple. Gotti does not sanction
Brooklyn
this
Back
killing.
Mountain.
That's oh man, that's just it's another level there. Now the plan is very simple here. Sammy the Bull goes, listen, I'm giving you 1 day's notice when we go to show up. I'm bringing in guys I trust. It's family. I think it's his brother-in-law he brings in. And he goes, old man Paruta, what you're going to do on this day, make sure your family's out of the room. Okay? I don't want them not in the room. I don't want them in the house.
No, out of the house completely.
Out of the house.
Home health aid's got to be gone.
That home health aid's got to go. I don't want to be a witness to no crime now. All right?
Same room that he got made in was was
Great
the room
time.
where they were going to do the hit.
So they agree to do this hit. He goes, you're getting 1 day's notice. Now, when your family leaves for the day and the hospice worker is, out for the day, go to your back door and unlock it and then get comfortable. We're going to come in. We're going to make sure you're comfortable. We're going to say goodbye to you. And we're going to very man of honor style give you the exit from this world you deserve. And
knowing full well, Gravano's now disobeyed orders from Gotti and could be, like, his own life is forfeit at that point
100%.
under the rules of La Cosa Nostra.
It's true love and a mercy killing here. And it's done out of honor for his life's work on this one. And Sammy the Bull's bothered by this the whole night before. He can't sleep. He's got a story where he's like, my wife comes in yapping about something. I was like, I'm busy right now. I got things on my mind. And his wife, whatever. And then the next day they wake up and he's waiting to get picked up. And Sammy the Bull's just sitting there and he's waiting. He goes, I have to kill my best friend today. This is the worst day of my life. I have, as a guy who has driven his dog to the vet for the last time, that's the feeling that sank into my stomach when I'm reading this story. And it's insane that we're able to feel this way about cold-blooded killers. But that's the feeling they're pulling out because there's so much emotion based in it. And he's sitting there and he's getting ready to get picked up. And his wife comes in. She goes, oh, I forgot to tell you. Dottie Paruta called. And Joe had to go to the hospital last night. He took a turn for the worse. And he was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. And he died on the way to the hospital.
Oh, I mean, though, you got to be fist pumping.
Is it fist pumping or is it like, oh man, we couldn't even give him his dying wish thing?
So this is interesting. He says that before he went to bed that night, he prayed to God and said, God, please give me, I'm so sorry I have to go and do this tomorrow. This actually does make me feel bad. This guy is my friend and I don't want to do this. And then he said the next day I was talking to God going is it worse that I didn't grant my friend his dying wish?
That's the one that's going to bother him the rest of his life. That's why he cries when he talks about the guy. It's unfinished business. Oh, man. But yes, old man Paruta does die of natural causes. What's interesting about that, of that Bensonhurst crew, the Delta Force of the Mafia, he's the only one.
Well, Sammy's still alive.
Sammy's still alive. He's probably going to, again, I think it's all of his underlings they talk about. Almost everybody dies a violent death except for old man Paruta. Yeah, it's you don't have to whack your best friend. So great news there. Bad news is he's already dead. So it's a little bit tricky there. Again, only member of the family, Frank DeChico, we talked about earlier, he gets killed a year later. And seeing all of his original crew and close friends die violently will plague Sammy. And now he's seeing how capable Gotti is of taking out even his top earners on a whim. This leads to Sammy the Bull Gravano cooperating with the feds, putting Gotti behind bars for the rest of his life, and being the highest ranking member of the Mafia to ever cooperate. And it's in large part due to this. Do you have anything you want to say on the way out? Because I promise you, Dom, we're done.
Couple of things. One, the way that it got out that Sammy ratted, the FBI went into the wrong guy's cell. It was Sebastian Gavars or something like that, and like walked him out without like checking the handcuffs or whatever, and realized like, oh shit, you're the wrong guy, and put him back in the cell. The guy puts it together in like that moment and goes and just starts screaming through the block, "The Bull's a rat! The Bull is a fucking rat!" Like that's how his cover got blown.
Dude, I did not know that one.
Yeah, that's like one of the cooler stories from the Gotti book that I read. The other thing I found very interesting. So like one of the other the legitimate businesses that the old man owned was an Italian deli, like in his neighborhood. I think his wife and his daughter worked it, right? The entire time they owned it, right? The landlord apparently wanted them out of there, but he would never go and upset the apple cart while the old man was still alive, right? Maybe 2 weeks after the funeral, the daughter, but mind you, the Bull is like, he's breaking money off for the family, making sure that like the guy's kids are taken care. Like that's the one kind of respectable thing about the mob, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna kill you in one of the most violent ways possible, but we're gonna make sure your kids don't go hungry.
The military's equivalent to that is the GI Bill.
Sure, right? I genuinely think you have a better chance just getting envelopes from the mob than you do going to the VA hospital.
Yes.
Right?
Accurate.
I don't think I'm right. Like, so it's like there is a certain level of like, I mean, at least they take care of their own in their own fucked up way. So the daughter of the old man comes to Sammy the Bull and is like, hey, the landlord really wants us out. They want it. They really want to move this deli. He wants to take over the storefront or do something with it, right? So the Bull goes to him and he goes like, all right, like, what's the deal here? What's going on? And he goes, yeah, I don't know. I there's renovations I can make. I can sell the building. I got to get, this deli's got to go though. He says, okay, why didn't you do this while the old man was alive? And he said, well, I just didn't, I knew he was in bad health. I didn't want to, upset him or anything like that. But it's something that had been on my mind for a while. And Sammy the Bull goes, no, you're a fucking coward, and you wouldn't do it while the old man was alive. Now you're trying to muscle out his daughter and his wife because you realize, like, they're on their own here. Well, guess what? You give me the date. Give me the day, the month, the week, whatever. You want them out. On that day, I swear to you, I will personally pay the money to get them moved, get them into a new place, make sure that they're okay. On that day, I'm coming here, I'm going to fucking kill you. So you tell me the day you want them out, I'll get it taken care of.
I've never seen Mike Harrington this impassioned before.
Talk about Tate. Like, that is, if I'm ever to meet an untimely death and anyone rides for my family like that, yeah, like that is, I feel like that's something where it's like, oh, I actually made a true friend in this world.
Dude, that is, all right, my hair's actually stood up on
so
the back of my neck.
According to Sammy the Bull, years later he went and checked. Never had to move. Like, he never went and pressured them, never muscled them,
Good news, you got long-term renters.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I know you got to bounce. You want anything you want to plug real quick? You got Armored League stuff coming up?
Yeah, the next one is going to be in April at the Palladium Times Square show. Going to be super fun. And I got a bunch of shows coming up at Fifth Company Brewing in Perryville, Maryland.
Great venue, Bo. I had a blast when I was down there.
If you're in the greater Cecil Tucky area, head to fifthcompanybrewing.co to get tickets.
Absolutely, man. Mikey, thank you for doing the show here, too. You guys know how to support me on this show. The book is called History Isn't Boring, Your Teacher Was. Buy that one. You can buy it up on Amazon and get the checks from them, too. I love doing the show here. I get to do it because Paco and Dom both work their cute little asses off, and they are cute. Trust me, folks. I check it out when they're not looking. At KP Burke Sucks over on Instagram, and your last opportunity to see me for a little while. I got a couple other things in the fire here. March 14th at the Dojo of Comedy. Come see Paco in person. He will talk to you about Flat Earth, but I assure you he's funny, okay? That being said, guys, thank you for your continued support of the show. I love doing it. This is my passion project. But that was Old Man Paruta, American Loser.
On the edge they take the throne, built on bones of those unknown. Counted first, never last, still erased from the past.